Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It is Thursday, September 21st, 2017, and this time, Discord's working for me. We have a great show for you tonight. This is week 28. Jeff noticing in chat that it was 7 months deep, because as people have been resubscribing here on Twitch, it does not feel like 7 months.
No.
That's for sure. All that tells me is that the last 7 months have gone... perhaps far too quickly, to say the least. So, anyway, we've got a great show for you guys lined up today. Hope you guys are ready for that. I'm gonna just turn myself down a bit because I believe last week we had a problem with me being way too loud. And yeah, we've got lots to talk about. Well, you never know with us, but some of this stuff doesn't seem like it's going to be particularly long topics, but we got many of them to get through. So let's not waste too much time. Gentlemen, how are you doing today? Mr. Black, how is the world of Mr. Black today?
I'm dead today, so my energy levels are going to be like...
D-E-D apostrophe D deaded?
I am
dead?
Dead. Went to bed at like 6 in the morning, 6:30, woke up at 9, went out and got a bunch of stuff done, came home and died. And I woke up at like, I don't know.
Congratulations on your rebirth.
7 o'clock, had dinner, and sat on this computer like a zombie waiting for this podcast to start, so here I am.
Well, awesome. Yeah. I mean, I kind of know your pain. I didn't fall asleep until about, I think, Gabs was having a rough night last night, so we just basically watched the 100 until about 4:30 in the morning.
Oh,
and then,
God.
And then I went to bed, and then construction as planned starts, or I should say, demolition starts at the 7 o'clock sharp. So I get a few hours, and here we are. I managed to. It was one of those days where, despite the fact that I know I didn't get a lot of sleep, I somehow managed to get a lot done anyway, and I don't feel dead, which means tomorrow it's probably going to hit me like a freight train. It's just like a delay. It hasn't hit me yet. Yeah, I know.
And we still have lots to do for tomorrow too. So.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm excited for how much I get to do tomorrow. Let's go.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Adam and I will be doing our first sponsored, or it's like a sponsored charity event. Basically, World Vision contacted me. They heard that I was sponsoring DPAC for many years.
Yeah.
And they were looking for some Canadians, because it's kind of like the World Vision Canada side of things. And I was like, yeah, we would love to do some charity work. And so I said, it was originally just supposed to be myself doing some stuff, and I said, man, we got to get NovaWar in this. We can do some really cool StarCraft stuff together. And we haven't done a charity event together in a long time, so we're really excited that this Saturday stream will be booting up at 1:30 p.m. Eastern, and we'll be going live. We'll start our casting at 2 o'clock. We're going to be doing all sorts of stuff, raising money for World Vision, for all those kids out there. We're going to be talking about a bunch of things. We're going to be casting games of people that are donating. We're not doing any tournament, but we're going to be doing NovaWar Says. We might even get Adam to be playing some Brood War. We're going to be casting.
Playing is a strong word.
Struggling through it. We're going to be doing all kinds of stuff. It's going to be a really big, fun event. We're going to try and raise $10,000 in 2 months. So between 2 big streams and probably about 30 to 40 casts that are going to be going on LAGTV. You guys have been asking for StarCraft, and I thought, well, this is a great way for us to produce StarCraft for the next several months and also raise a bunch of money for an awesome cause. So we're going to tell you guys more about that. We're going to have a video out tomorrow telling you guys in detail, but wanted to mention it here on the podcast. And look out for that. So don't miss it on Saturday. Bring your checkbook. Bring your booze and all that fun stuff. It's gonna be a good time.
Bring your beeper,
what year
your
is
pager,
this?
your fax machine.
Yes.
Bring
old machine with a carbon
your,
copy your credit card.
Bring your pleated pants and shoulder padded zoot suit. your pinstriped.
Look at this.
Your best pinstripe suit.
I got my checkbook right here, boys. I'm ready.
I still have mine too. I know.
I got
it's
my
just funny.
checkbooks over there.
Bring your fax machine.
We need to bring like the credit card like a swiper that you used to have in like department
That's what
stores.
I just said.
That's
like
right.
the carbon one, the carbon copy
Yeah, the
one.
carbon.
With the card down.
Amazing, but yeah, that's gonna be pretty fun. Hopefully that goes over well, and hopefully many of you show up for that. I'm sure most people listening to this are likely going to be there if they can. So I look forward to that. It'll be a hectic couple of days to get ready for it because it's kind of like probably
Happens
the most
Saturday.
last-minute event that we've ever done.
On this scale
So,
too, like it's kind of like a big
scale, yeah.
It's like a big thing. We're going to be producing a lot of content, hopefully raising a lot of money, and once again, it's last minute, but we perform under pressure, so it's all good.
Oh yeah, it'll be great.
fun. Yep.
It'll be great. Mr. Panic, how are you doing today?
I just hear you guys whining about like going to sleep real late. I was at work by the time you guys were going to sleep. All right, I was already at work.
You know what?
And
Panic
I got back.
Is? You know who Panic is? Panic is the guy in the guy in like New England. That whenever somebody in Canada complains about how much shoveling they had to do in the driveway, somebody in New England's like, man, you don't know. And then somebody pipes up from Newfoundland, bitch, please. And then somebody from Labrador is like, you don't know what shoveling is until you've been in Labrador and it's 14.5 feet tall and it's 55 below zero in the middle of the afternoon. That's Panic. It's like if somebody says, I didn't get enough sleep last night, Panic's like, oh yeah, well let me do you one better. I haven't slept in 4 years. I've been strung out on coke and Adderall, and I'm just still going, doing more than everybody else.
We can't talk about that in public, Adam. You promised. Nah. I've been working on the new machine. It's coming along very well. It's actually sitting on my desk right here.
It does look good.
Yeah, I got the cable management done at like 2 a.m. and then I realized I had to be at work at like 5 a.m. That was not a smart life choice. Then I'm like, you know what? I'll get out early today. I'll get out around 5, and I rolled out at around 7. Got here for the podcast, had dinner, and I'm pretty hyped up at the moment. So we'll see if the energy lasts.
I'm noticing that you have LED RAM sticks, and I'm judging you feverishly right now for having LED RAM sticks.
There's no LED RAM sticks. They're just white.
Are those Dominators?
No, they're low profile. There's no LEDs on the RAM at all.
Okay. Why do they look like LEDs? What do they got vents on the top for? For like streamlining? They going faster?
It's a RAM chip. It's just the RAM chip with like an aluminum heat spreader.
Is it not a Corsair Dominator? Because it looks identical.
No, it's
to a
Vengeance.
Dominator.
It's just a Vengeance low profile stuff. There's no LEDs.
Oh, okay.
Nothing extra. I got plain ass normal ass RAM. The
The
only thing that's got LEDs are the fans and the video card.
Should have got the Dominator.
They won't fit.
Got the yeah, anyway, okay, well that's great. None of us have died this week. That's fantastic. I'm very happy to hear that. We still have many more days ahead of us for that to happen, but this week, we say no. The FTC. Jeff and I, unfortunately, despite being Canadians, still have to play very nicely with the rules of the FTC in America. Because they have the businesses that we make money off of by the balls, and by proxy, our balls are also in their hands. They have stirred up all manner of fuckery on the internet in the last 24 hours, specifically in like the last 6 hours of yesterday. Did my timeline just explode with parodies of this whole FTC nonsense? Specifically about one tweet in particular, whereby whoever is managing the FTC Twitter account and doing this AMA said, when somebody asked them, if a company just sends me a product for free, and I just so happen to use it and enjoy it, and it happens to be in the public eye, do I have to mark that as an ad? In which FTC replied, yes, and then everybody went, are you fucking serious? So,
I absolutely agree with that, though.
Why?
Are you retarded? Do
No,
you know what that means?
dude,
Like
do you know
every reviewer for a video game is the most obvious example here. What is that? Every review now
it matters.
suddenly
It
becomes
matters.
an advertisement. This company provided us a copy of
You
the
don't
game
have
as
to
they've
say-
been doing for decades, And now all of a sudden I have to put hashtag ad every time I do a review for something that somebody sends me?
You don't have to put hashtag ad. You have to disclose that you received the promotional copy for free. That's not necessarily you don't have to say it's an advertisement.
They want, not only do they want you to say that in like vocally,
if you tweet
they want
it,
text. They want it to be up front. They want it to be on your forehead. If you are anywhere running around the room, they might even want it tattooed to your penis because you wore a Trojan condom one day and you liked it. So now it's a hashtag ad. So there is a line with this that I find absolutely ridiculous. It is one thing for a company to give you something and then say, all right, look, as a deal, we're going to send you this product in return for a favorable review, or we're going to send you this product that's like a $3,000 product for this review. That's probably going to sway you dramatically in terms of how you review it, unless you're some sort of like moral god and just be like, no, I got this $3,000 thing, it's a piece of shit, don't buy it, and you're never going to get anything from this company again. But if somebody is sending you like a $5 comb and you fucking like, you know what, this comb's pretty dope, like, what the fuck do you really need an ad on there for? The company's not even asking you to review it, they're just like, here's some shit, and maybe you review it, maybe you don't. It's not even specifically for the purposes of review, and you still have to like tattoo that shit all over. Furthermore, they want you, if it's recorded content on like YouTube or otherwise, to interject at random points throughout it, just in case somebody doesn't start at the beginning, so that if they come in late,
guidance for random points.
They're like, oh, well, if they're in late, they didn't see you talk about how it's an ad at the beginning of the video, so now we have to make sure that Sally come lately gets to know that the comb that you're brushing your fucking hair with now is totally given to you by some company, and it's a dope comb, but it's an advertisement because I got it for free.
They came out and clarified it further, though, like especially for the Twitch people. They said, look, if someone sends you a code, whatever reason, and even for free, and you're playing the game on stream, you have to mention it at the beginning of the stream and at the end of the stream, and it needs to be written somewhere in the description. That's it. That they came back and cleared that up. So for live streaming, they said the same thing for YouTube.
That's live. Yeah, but that's live streaming. Yeah, but it's not.
Yeah,
for
but
YouTube.
for YouTube, they said the same thing. YouTube, they said it has to be visible, you know, and you have to mention it at least at the beginning and the end. So, you know, it could be a little badge saying, "Hey, sponsor content," whatever. It has to be there.
I feel like this is what happened. Okay, before I let Jeff talk about this or whatever, I feel like this is what happened. Amazon reviews got absolutely fucking wrecked by fake. We're gonna pay an Asian bot or an Asian kid like $5 every 3 days to write positive reviews for every fucking product that nobody's ever heard of, 5 stars all the way, and shit was just inflated like crazy. And then somebody started complaining, and the FTC was like, all right, you know what? Unfortunately, we need to just plaster this shit with as broad of a brush as humanly possible. And it's gotten to the point, I mean, just to frame this, it's gotten to the point that, like, if you go to this page, they've had to frame this in, like, this weird back and forth question and answer format in as many specific scenarios as possible. And if you read all the answers, the amount of vague language, even in the answers from the FTC, is so ridiculous that they might as well have gone even further and just said, you know what, guys? After a certain dollar amount of whatever you're using, if you get it for free, slap an ad tag in text, say at the beginning, and just be done with it. But they want you to just roll that shit into it as much as possible. Massage it. Fucking work it in everywhere you possibly can, so that everyone is 100% sure that the Q-tips that you used to clean your ears in the morning, that you got for free by some fucking company, is not just you buying it off the shelf, because obviously getting Q-tips for free has wildly changed your opinion on Q-tips specifically for this brand, and now it's gonna color your review of those Q-tips. Well, I mean, it's nuts.
Discovery matters. How you discover something matters. Like, for example, look, I get invited to movie premieres all the time to go watch them for press screenings. I get review codes all the time because I do reviews and stuff. They still send it to me. I'm on media list. Discovery of certain things matters. Like, there are some games that I wouldn't even bother touching or playing unless someone gave me a code. Like, I'm not going to spend my money and go buy a game. So that initial discovery, for me personally,
but
it matters.
But is that going to color your opinion? It doesn't
color my opinion, but
But
that's not my decision to make.
The game, but if you were,
that's the reader's decision to make.
So I guess ultimately, and this really is before I pass off Jeff, my as rebuttal to you, Panic, and you can get back to it afterwards, is that what the fuck happened to the onus being on the consumer and buyer beware? That buyer beware thing has been fucking plastered everywhere. If you can't, as a person, look at somebody who is in an industry, specifically, like it's NASCAR, where these people have brands fucking all over them, everywhere you go. If they have a selfie, if you look carefully, there's 14 different fucking branded items with the labels strategically fucking tilted towards the camera so that even if it's slightly blurred, you can still see the Coke label back there behind the Nivea fucking bottle of lotion that the girl used that morning where she's talking about how she does her fucking face routine. If you can't figure out that these people are getting shit for free and that it might change their opinions just a bit, you are completely vapid and you need to not buy anything ever because you're just going to ruin your own bank account with shit that other people are just pawning off on you. Just because all this has done for me is mean that I'm going to buy absolutely fucking every game that I personally review now. I'm not taking a single fucking copy from anyone because if I've got to cover my own content, review content, with all this shit just so that the FTC can sleep at night that somebody didn't buy The Witness because I said it was the greatest game to have ever fucking be created and I just so happened to get it for free, then that's just insane. But Mr. Black,
that's your prerogative, though.
What is your take on this?
I don't really care one way or another. Usually when I'm advertising something, I'm getting paid to do it. So I usually just say
you already advertise it anyway.
Ad anyway. I rarely take keys. I don't even remember the last time. I've gotten keys from like companies to give away and stuff, and I've always said that companies gave me a bunch of keys to give away. But in terms of like doing reviews, I could definitely see Adam's point of view, because if I lived in a place like New York or whatever, and I'm a huge movie buff, and they were giving me presser tickets to go and see something, a screener tickets to see something in advance, and I do movie reviews, how ridiculous would it be that at the beginning of every review or in the middle or at the end, I have to go and say, by the way, I didn't pay for my movie ticket. These guys paid for it. So thank you. And I just want to be upfront about the fact that I didn't pay. That would just, I've listened to, I don't even know how many movie reviews over the years, thousands. And I can't remember a single time where somebody has flat out come out and said that besides maybe one person that got flown out to California for a big event, but it wasn't even just a movie. It was like a whole meet and greet and all this other stuff that they were sponsored to go to. That was like an actual ad. But to like go to the movies and see a film and then give your opinion on it, I feel like that's the same thing as playing a video game. You're given a key. There is a value to that key in terms of dollar amount, whether it's an $11 ticket, a $10 indie game, or a $60 AAA title, and you're given a key. Most of the times, like if I look at my email right now, in the trash bin, at least once or twice a day, I have a bunch of keys that come in where indie developers say, "Hey, here's a key.
Lists.
Can you play this on stream? You know, or check it out if you like it. You know, maybe play it on stream or whatever like that." So if I accept that key, there's no binding contract between us. There is no, hey, I'm doing this for you, you're doing this for me. It is, hey, you know what, you're going to hook me up with a key. If I like it, I like it. If I don't, I don't. Because the beautiful thing about that is if the game is shit, I'm going to say that this game sucks. And I'll never play it again. Yeah. I'll never play it again. Yeah. Now, it's different if the company goes, hey, here's a key. I'm also going to give you $500 to play it for 4 hours on the stream, and there's a contract involved. Then, of course, I have to put hashtag ad sponsored by such game, so on and so forth, right? When I did Marvel Heroes, I was paid to play the game, and in the title I would put
and you disclosed
ad,
it properly.
So, and I just, you know, I told everybody that's it. But there has been times, a few times, not many, where somebody has given me a key and I had just played their game. There was no money involved. There was no agreement involved, and that was it. I played it. Either I liked it or I didn't, and that was the show. You know, it was kind of like Drop Zone. When I first started playing Drop Zone, I wasn't paid to play Drop Zone. I was just given a key. They said, check it out. I played it. I really liked it. I went back to them. I said, dude, I really love your game. If you want me to play more of it, you know, I'm going to be taking away from the game that I'm known for, which is going to cost me. So you're going to have to pay me for my time. And then eventually we struck a deal, and then it became an ad. Then it became, this is a sponsored stream by such and such. So, you know, I think there's a fine line, and I think what they're trying to do here is overboard. I understand that
they need to calibrate it some more.
Yeah, I understand that there are really people out there that are the type of person that's always like a conspiracy theorist, right? Where they're paranoid over everything. So, you know, if a company goes and gives me okay, say for example with my car. Right now, I'm talking to a few companies to potentially give me a set of rims, right? So if they give me a set of rims, there's a huge value in those rims. Now, we'll have to work out a deal where it's kind of a sponsored thing, where they're going to send me the rims, and then I'll take photos of my car, put them on Instagram, they'll be in my videos, and I'll have to disclose that I was given those rims by the company and where they can buy it, and giving them a thanks for all that stuff, and that's up front. Now, if a company, for example, like Saks usually sends me underwear once a year because I just love the product so much. And I'm saying that right now when I'm sponsored by MeUndies. You know, go check out MeUndies. But for example,
I have a bag of
like
MeUndies over in the other room.
MeUndies for me is I am being paid to promote MeUndies. So I have to be upfront that I'm being sponsored. Now with Saks, it was just a underwear company that I just wore all the time. I just loved their product, and I was making tweets about their product, and they hit me up and said, "How would you like free 10 pairs for just being so fucking awesome?" Now, I received, you know, 10 pairs of Saks, which I usually get every year. Am I now have to disclose that this is an ad? Because I didn't, you know, if they're going to offer me product, do I now have to, like, go out if I want to share to the world that, hey, Saks, thanks for hooking me up, man. But do I have to say hashtag ad? I didn't sign a contract with these people.
I feel like they kind of, like, the hashtag ad part was the part that kind of caught on too much. Again, like, the actual legalese underneath this is from like the Universal Commercial Code, which is used for a lot of business law and stuff. And the FTC clarification is effectively, if you receive consideration of any kind, you have to disclose that. Now, they kind of did it in their like cutesy way of saying, oh, you have to put hashtag ad or something in. But for me in general, and just, you know, not necessarily everyone knows if you've gotten something for free. Like, and you know, most people should have, like Adam was saying, they shouldn't be so vapid that they just take you at your word and just go and buy everything. But the problem is, it's like we influence, you guys notably more, influence a lot of different demographics, not just adults, not just that. There's kids and other groups in there that, you know, watch the streams, not for everyone. So, you know, you kind of just say that, hey, I got a promo copy or whatever. I think they're going a bit overboard with saying that you have to disclose it everywhere. It's got to be plastered everywhere. But I feel like, you know, it should be mentioned if you got it for free. Because like I was saying before, discovery matters. How did you find the product? Would you have tried it without it? But for a reviewer, when I did it, usually if I got a free code, I'd usually just say right at the bottom of the article, and you know, I'd say, hey, I got a free copy of this. And I would actually say, I would not have bought this with my own money, you know, or, you know, I would not have found this without the free code. You know, and I mentioned that as part of it, how I discovered it.
I mean, that's cool you do that. I think it's ridiculous, and I think you're biased as well. And you don't live. You don't live.
How
in
would
this
you
industry.
say I'm biased?
You don't live in this industry, so you know you're.
Dude, I've been doing before you guys even started. I've been reviewing games for years.
Well, I mean, you may have, but
more from the press side, not necessarily on YouTube and Twitch.
Exactly, and you know, I understand what you're saying, and I see where you're coming from to an extent, but I think you're just so far on the other side that it's almost there's not even a debate here. I mean, you just don't live this like we do. So you don't you don't understand. You understand it, but you don't understand it on another level. It's an inconvenience.
I wouldn't say that I don't. I wouldn't say that I don't understand it though. I understand it perfectly well. We're on different sides.
Listen, when I watch a movie review or I listen to a game review, I'm not one of those snarky assholes that go, "Oh, he's just." Almost in a jealous kind of way, like, oh, he got a free game and now he's just saying it's good. Well, what happens if I actually like the shit? So what do I have to come out and say, yeah, I got paid, but guess what, guys? I still like it. Or, oh, I didn't get paid for this, by the way, but I'm still doing it. How many times, like, as an entertainer, that I feel, even when I promoted Sax on my own terms of just liking something, I have to go out and tell people that I wasn't paid to say this. And you got idiots in the chat that go, oh, how much are they fucking paid you, bud? How much? I'm not getting paid. This is just my opinion.
What it does is it devalues stupid. When you actually enjoy something. Is that it devalues it within the community, because now there is a constant assumption of you are getting benefits.
Paid. Yeah.
Or paid in some way, and that's why you like it. And then, and so when those two, like Jeff said, when those two worlds collide now, when you do get a game as a code or some shit, and you do like the game, well, now people a large, not a small number, a large number of people, the moment that you put that, I got this game, P.S., I got this game for free, and, you know, depending on how far you want to take it, like, if you want to take it as far as you did, where, like, I wouldn't have known about this, blah, 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 write a fucking small novella, whatever the hell you want at the bottom of your shit, and then somebody sees that, well, then they're automatically gonna go, well, fuck this review, because this just, it is what it is.
He's biased.
And there's no contract.
Then don't accept the product.
That's bullshit. What the fuck? Why? Why wouldn't I?
So you get to shoot yourself.
That's on
in the
you,
foot.
then, man. How is that?
That's on you. Problem. That's on you. You want the FTC to baby people that can't think for themselves. That they always think that there's an attachment to something. That there's a catch. That there's some underlining motive, and they can't make a decision on their own. Am I going to be this? It's just ridiculous. Anyway, you're going to get me fired up. And I don't, it's just dumb. It's stupid.
As an example, like you said, it's like there's other groups involved here that aren't adults. Okay, real talk for a second here, Panic. What fucking 11, 12-year-old kid
seriously
is going to see somebody use something or read a review and then read the fucking disclosure at the bottom and then internalize it and go, you know what? That might have colored that reviewer's opinion of this item, and I should probably take that into consideration before I go buy this pogo stick.
Before I ask my mom if she can go buy this for me.
Not going to happen. You know what happens at that level? Kid sees, kid likes, kid wants, tells parent, parent buys it, full fucking stop. That is how it works. That's also why when it comes to print and video ads of any kind, there's an entire, like the entirety of marketing is specifically, even for cars, they target kids because they know ultimately, despite the fact the parents are making the ultimate purchase, the kids have been the deciding factor of 90% of what the fuck enters the household in the first place. So there's no disclosure, nobody on TV reading the fine print with a magnifying glass with the shit bit rate for your fucking local cable when the shit's at the bottom for your car going, by the way, don't try this at home. This motherfucker drove over this cliff, but he's a professional and some of this shit was CGI. And in reality, this Jeep Cherokee would fucking fold like a tin can if you actually attempted this in reality. Like, there's just... It's too much, and then to apply this into a world that happens like this, and where you don't only have to look out for your community but yourself and your own persona as a brand, and now you're going to apply this to everything in the kind of minutia that involves a fucking review whereby there's no contract between the singular person and the company that's sending you the key without even saying they want you to review it. Just like, here's some shit. Because
you want to know what's funny? You know what I'd be doing right now if I was companies, which is just genius. I'm about to make some people a lot of money. Well, since we really have no choice now, you just go ahead and you go and find the biggest fucking Twitchers or medium line Twitchers or even the below you know, the low end guys, whatever, anything you want. You find their PO box and you just send them product without them even know. You just send them shit. You just send them stuff, and then they open it up on a PO box stream, or they go, oh, what's this in the mail? They open it up and they receive the product, and
this
guess
stream
what?
Is now brought to you by
now they
Old
have
Spice.
to now they have to advertise it and say that it was given for free advertisement, or just throw it in the garbage. And who in the right fucking mind is going to throw a free laptop or a free protein powder or a free video game in the garbage because they refuse to put hashtag ad or say that this was given for free and thank the company for doing it? It's bullshit. Bullshit. It should be an agreement between one side and another side. If there's some monetary gain, then absolutely go and tell people it's your job as an entertainer, as an influencer, to be honest at all times. Of course, there is going to be people out there that are not going to be so honest.
That's the problem. You had the people who've been fucking dishonest. That's why this is happening.
But that is ridiculous. That's a stupid argument.
It's ridiculous and it sucks for you, but that's the situation. It's caused a problem. That's why now you all have to deal with it.
Well, I guess you guys should get rid of automatic fucking machine guns and stuff, because there's some people out there that ruin it for everybody. So why don't we just take it from everyone, huh? You know, you going to use that same argument for everything, or does it only work for here? It's just ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous.
It's an inconvenience for you, but you get something for free. Someone else should know about it. They should be able to make that informed decision on their own.
It's ridiculous. I'm sorry. You have to babysit everybody.
The next time Kylie Jenner has a Pepsi in her hand, I'm gonna think long and hard as to whether or not she was paid to hold that can in her hand, because it's going to greatly determine whether or not I buy a can of Pepsi the next time I've got a hard thirst on and I need to quench that thirst. I'm gonna think to myself, am I solving world problems with this can, or am I actually getting rid of the
Like I said, they need to calibrate it and, you know, probably set values and shit for how much is the threshold. But yeah, you guys we all get free shit for things. Someone should probably know, especially if you're pushing the product.
It's just, this world is fucked.
Yeah. It's absolutely
We're all gone
ridiculous,
to, we've gone to hell in a handbasket. We need to, in the same world whereby we need to remind people that coffee is hot. We need to now tell everyone that sometimes free shit happens.
Yeah, just in case that 8-year-old that has no idea that coffee's hot somehow manages to pick up the coffee and spills it on himself.
It's the 35-year-old woman in the
35,
fucking
the 35-year-old
pours it on herself, and oh god, shit!
Yeah, don't sue me.
It's like third-degree burns, and I'm gonna sue the company.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, I don't know what it is, but lately I've been seeing all kinds of shit on Twitter and people arguing with each other about hashtag ads and things like that. And everybody always think there's some kind of underlining motive, and how every entertainer is only out there to you know, deceive people and all this other stuff. But there are legitimate entertainers out there and influencers that do a stand-up job in those things. And the vast majority of people that are shady and will lie to your face typically are not the successful ones anyway. So it is what it is.
No. It's the FTC.
Like, just to clarify again, like, for example, Jeff, I personally watch a ton of streamers. If you say something's good, I take your word for it. Of course. That's fine. Like, I don't necessarily need a hashtag ad from you, but there are a lot of other streamers out there. Again, they have similar charisma, they have other things, but I don't necessarily know them as well. So yeah, I should do, again, the onus is definitely on me to do the research, right? I completely agree with both of you on that, 100%. But at the same time, that guy, you know, just because he doesn't have, you know, necessarily the integrity that you do to say this is a sponsored stream or whatever, you know, I should also necessarily be given that information, or I should be able to find out that information, not necessarily be like a massive disclosure beginning and whatever. You know, I don't necessarily agree with the full implementation of what the FTC is doing, but I agree with the motive behind it and why they're doing it. I think they need to think about it some more, dial it in, actually talk with more people in the industry and figure out where are the lines. They need to actually quantitatively say, if you have this many followers, if you do this type of thing, if you have this kind of reach, these dollar amounts, if there's a contract, just specify that. Put it out as an actual FTC code, not some Twitter like ask me anything thing. Actually codify it.
And
Have a set of rules.
here's the other thing. Well, I mean, your opinion is kind of changing that as we were continuing to talk. It's not kind of what you were saying before. You know, you're kind of changing your stance a little bit, but it is what it is, which is good. Maybe we talk some sense into you. But the thing is, is what happens? How can you dictate if something is an ad or not? What are you gonna do? So how do you know if somebody's telling the truth or not? What are they going to do? Hook them up to a lie detector test and say, did you really enjoy this product or not? I mean, it's a moral thing. It's all you got to use your own judgment as a consumer and as a viewer. It's not up to us to, it's up to us if we're getting paid to be upfront about it. And then, of course, depending on who it is, I know for me, if there's something, I've taken many of deals on things that I hadn't really enjoyed all that much. I've been paid to play some games that I thought weren't all that great. But instead of me coming out of respect of the company and going, this game is absolute bullshit, because not only is that a bad look for me in my business, because if word gets around that somebody's paying me and I'm trashing the shit out of them, there goes deals for whatever, for God knows how long. But what I like to do is I focus on the things that I do enjoy about it, because what my full opinion on something is, and typically I will go ahead and say that, it's still up to the consumer. What I like, somebody else may not, and what I don't like, somebody else may. For example, when I was sponsored by Ozone, there were products that Ozone had that were garbage, that were absolute cheap and garbage. But what I did is I didn't use those products. I only used the products that I thought were really good and were worth the money. So I didn't talk about the bad things. That was on the consumer to go to the website, and if they wanted to choose said product, that was on them. I only advertised the headset that I really enjoyed, the keyboard that I really enjoyed, the mouse that I really enjoyed, and that was the show. So the consumer at the end of the day needs to come out and take some kind of responsibility. And I think a lot of the time is they're complaining for the sake of complaining. I think there's some envy, some jealousy that there's product giving out to people and they're not receiving it for free. And then also there's just people out there that think everyone's out there to get them and everyone's out there to rip them off. And they're just the vocal minority, because the vast majority of people are actually smart. They can think for themselves and they don't need all these stupid, ridiculous hashtag ads every time I receive a pair of medium sacks in the mail. It's fucking stupid.
Yeah, that is a very good point that I didn't even think about, is that ultimately, no matter how much we plastered this stuff all over it, and exactly however it inevitably comes, whether it's the form it's in now or some condensed whatever finalized perfected thing down the road, is that ultimately if you're in the business of receiving product in any way, shape, or form, whether you're disclosing it or not, and you're going to be inclined, as it is usually in the cases where people are receiving it for free, your business, you are by nature inclined to give positive or leaning positive reviews, because if you don't, you're fucked and you're never going to get another paycheck in this line of work. So the core of the problem here isn't necessarily that people aren't disclosing shit, because even if you disclose it, shocker here, nothing is going to change. Literally zero changes. And if people are still not informed that, like, because then what happens? If it's a disclosure issue that ultimately the FTC is saying that people need to understand when you get product for free, because the underlying thing here, the symptom, not even the symptom, the root cause is that they're trying to figure out is that people are buying things thinking that the reviews given by influencers are true to what they're supposed to be, but they're not, right? If that's the what they're attacking, this is the shittiest way that they could possibly attack it, because it solves absolutely nothing for the reasons we just stated, is that people are still going to give positive leaning reviews whether it's disclosed or not. And now what problem exists? Now not only is it that people are doing it, But now it's going to be almost like it's okay that that's happening regardless because we've disclosed it. So nobody is still making any more informed decisions because the reviews aren't changing. The only thing that's changing is that we're annoying a bunch of people that have been doing this legitimately for a long time to try and cover up an issue that the solution to this is not actually being provided. It's like
I disagree. I think it might not be a perfect solution, but it's an improvement on the situation. Let's take your headphones for example, Adam. You bought those headphones with your own money, and you've told we rave about the 598s. Every single pair of headphones I own, I have bought myself.
Greatest headphone for the money on the planet.
Shout out to Sennheiser.
Exactly, right? But the thing is, we know, and you've disclosed that you have purchased these with your own money. You did the research, you purchased it, you've listened to it. You know, we've all talked about it. That's very different from if Sennheiser sends you a pair, and again, it comes down to partially on the influencer, partially on, you know, all of that. But, you know, it's different than if you got the headphones sent to you and then you tried them out, because it makes a difference, like you said yourself. You kind of color how you're reviewing a kind of positive manner.
So again, if Sennheiser did send those that headset to him, or those headphones to him, free of charge, because
I would have been a little bit more skeptical about it. Not much, because I know Adam, but I would have been a little bit more skeptical about it. I would have done more research myself before picking them up. But Adam literally said, I did research, I picked these up myself. They're great, and you know what? I thought about it, and then I went and did a little bit of research, but not as much as I usually would, because I'm like, Adam says these are freaking great, and he knows his audio shit. So then I picked up 598s myself, and I love them too.
But that's not covering what I was just talking about, though. What you just talked about was exactly what we originally talked about. We're tackling the broader issue, which is it's similar to a lot of things where there's a root cause, there's a whole shitload of symptoms, and somebody sits down and they think that they found the root cause, when in reality they're just seeing one of the symptoms of what's going on, and then they go and attack that symptom, and at the end of the day, despite the fact that we've now gotten rid of this symptom, the root cause is still causing all sorts of bullshit, and nothing's really changed up here except you've put a Band-Aid over it, and eventually the Band-Aid falls off and it doesn't actually do its job anymore.
That's how government bureaucracy works.
Well, then what the fuck? So
Adam, we're having conversations with an American, and just their way of thinking.
But that's whatever. I'm not going to attack him as an American for some stupid shit. This is it.
It's the mindset. I truly believe this. I think different parts of the world, people think differently, and I feel like we don't have to have, we're not afraid to be sued every 2 seconds for every little thing, over every dumb little thing. And I feel like everybody on the American side, and I'm painting a brush right now, and go ahead and hate me for it, I don't give a shit. You walk on eggshells about everything. Everything, there is a catch, there's a consequence, it's all about that all the time. And the reality is, we're going to get some of that splash over here because that's just the way it is. And I think at the end of the day, the rules are rules. If this is how it's going to be, then I guess we're going to have to bite the bullet and either abide by those, or just start refusing products from people because we're afraid that we're going to have to do whatever because it's dumb. It's dumb.
That's fine. That's fine. But what I want to do is I want to get an answer about this from Panic about what I'm bringing up here, because the last answer wasn't quite, and it's probably because I didn't word it properly. So I'll try and be a little bit more specific about it. So the ultimate problem that the FTC is trying to solve here is that people are buying things because they are listening to influencers who in some way, shape, or form are influenced themselves by receiving product or payment from the companies of the products that they are reviewing, right? That's the ultimate problem the FTC is trying to tackle, because they want people to make informed decisions, correct?
Yes.
You follow me? Okay. All right. I just want to make sure the whole way that we're on the same page. So that's where we are with this. So that is what the FTC is trying to solve as a problem. My counter to this is that while this does something. I'm not saying it does nothing, but while it does something, it isn't ultimately going to solve the core problem that they are attempting to fix. And the core problem is that these people that are listening to influencers, if they don't already realize this, the majority of the people that are receiving product, whether it's for free or they're whatever, or they're being paid and the disclosure is there or not, if they give, there's very few people that will still give an honestly shit review of an honestly shit product.
Well, you saw what happened with Giant Bomb, remember what happened with that shit?
Well, yeah,
and then there's consequence, and then there's consequence.
Yes,
when you lash back.
Yes, but the one that you just mentioned, Panic, that is a company nobody give a flying fuck about. Some random company out in the middle of nowhere. You do that shit with a well-known brand, that's a totally different fucking bag than dumpstering some small-time fuckboys trying to make the shittiest headset known to man. That's a totally different ball game, okay? And if these influencers go about their business and did that, then the vast majority of them that aren't already loaded rich to afford to buy all of their shit with their own money to do these reviews and spin this out, and that list of people is a pretty fucking short list, then they're all going to be out of work. And so there's an argument to be said, well, why do these people even need to exist to begin with? But that's not what we're talking about right now.
That's not the discussion.
That's not the discussion. The problem is then that whether they're disclosing it or not, ultimately people are giving more positive reviews, not because they're getting it for free, but because if they don't, they're going to be out of a job. And so that is the problem, which means that even when this is happening as it is now with this new solution to this problem, that people are still going to be making purchasing decisions based on, technically speaking, by the FTC's definition, a falsified review, because these people are still positive leaning the vast majority of the time because of the circumstances of not wanting to be homeless and not wanting to push pencils in an office somewhere on the degree that they may or may not have. So that's what I'm proposing here, is that all this is doing is going after people or annoying people that have likely been doing this pretty much as intended for a long time, and just adding to the annoyances that they already had to deal with to avoid, like Jeff said, and there's some truth in this, America is the land of fucking litigation. The shit is crazy down there. Everyone somebody sneezes on you in public,
you're sued.
And it's fucking game over.
You're sued.
Somebody's fucking suing you because shit gets real.
Thing, Jeff, and again, Jeff's not wrong. That is pretty much exactly how it works in the States. But the big thing is, a lot of people in the world, again, they follow the U.S. laws. They are subject to it. They follow whatever, right? One of the big things in U.S. law is precedent. You know, before you can actually, you'll write a law or whatever, but before it's truly in place and doing, there has to be like a judgment around it, or there has to be a precedent set. So with Team Martin and Syndicate and what happened with them, it was a massive disclosure issue. So the FTC here is now, in response to that and that decision, they're now trying to codify. And again, like we said, this is not a great solution. It's kind of a Band-Aid, but it's a starting point. Government is slow. They don't really understand the whole influencer space still. They're working on it. So this is them starting. And this is going to change over time. They're going to tighten it up. They have to. But it's going to be challenged. There's going to be changes. And that's just how the government process works. So now with the precedent, they've set an actual rule. It will now be tried and tested and adjusted. And then again, that cycle continues until eventually, may not be in our lifetimes, whatever, government is fucking slow. They will get it eventually, and then something new will happen. That's just how it works.
Yeah, it is.
It's just how it is. Like it's not. I know it's a shitty situation for influencers and content creators.
It's not for you.
I'm fine with it. I understand what they're going for. Yeah, like I said, they have issues with it, but it doesn't happen instantly. Government's fucking slow.
I could talk about this all night, and I appreciate the defense of the I fucking love it. I love it. Love it, love it, love it. But Panic,
We're on different ends of it.
but Panic, I am not a particularly intelligent individual, okay? And I could have, in 5 minutes, outlined a more fucking succinct and far less elaborate and confusing fucking solution to this problem. They could have asked literally anyone in this market to aid in whatever the fuck this is. Or just thought in general. That would have worked too. Just think for more than 5 fucking seconds. Because if this is honest to God, even as a first pass, the best anyone in that kind of fucking position could come up with, then we are sure as shit not going to be in our lifetime.
People who work at the Federal Trade
generations
Commission
from now.
People who work in the Federal Trade Commission, how old do you think they are? They're not in their 20s. They're not in their 30s. They're in their 40s, 50s, maybe even 60s. They're not people who understand
They should be relatively intelligent.
They probably are, but at the same time, you take a 50, 60-year-old who doesn't necessarily know about Twitch and all this other stuff. It's not necessarily something they're going to understand how to regulate immediately.
Well, why don't you educate yourself about it before you decide to slap something all around here?
Question for you then.
That's not how government works, Jeff.
Well,
yes,
then stop defending
it should.
it.
It should
it's
work.
ridiculous. It should. That's how it should work.
If you don't know, if you're in that position and you don't know something, you have 2 options. You fucking fly by the seat of your pants, or you do what?
You learn.
They're going by laws that are already on the books, where you have to disclose if you have an affiliation. That's an older law. It's been on the books in the Universal Commercial Code for quite a while. So the FTC is going to lean on stuff they already have in place that they can leverage. With the T. Martin and Syndicate stuff, it gives them precedent to work with it even more. Like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, but it's the same idea.
But they own the company. Like, what they did was legitimately, like, illegal. Like, they allegedly. Like,
we know.
So
allegedly.
it's completely different. It's 2 totally different things. Like, they allegedly
the same
own
thing
the
about
company.
Disclosure.
They own the company. We're getting paid a gajillion dollars. One of them
the question
allegedly
out of that.
was rigging the entire system, allegedly. And so what we're talking about here are 2 totally different things.
Yes, but at the same time, it comes down to, again, disclosures have always been kind of a nebulous area in this
the next
space.
time,
So
the
now
next
they
time
said,
I
okay.
fuck my wife, do I have to disclose to her every woman that I have been with? And I have to disclose every little thing, an association. Is that where we're coming from? Is that where we're going right now? Because
that's not, dude. That's a completely different and arbitrarily random situation. That's a straw man argument there.
It's the same concept.
So I appreciate the FTC is attempting to make roads in what is by and large a 7 to 8 year old tops environment, an industry, despite the fact that obviously there has been this kind of influencer stuff has existed in the past, just in different mediums that have been regulated for much longer periods of time. So I appreciate that they are making some efforts here. What I don't appreciate is that apparently, and you know, this is fine. Everybody gets upset about government shit all the time because by and large, like Panic said, and like everyone would agree to, government moves at a speed
we're not used to that speed.
That would make dead snails jealous. You know, it's bad in that regard, and so it's fine to get upset about it, and we should, and it should move people to be more active.
Just kind of put it in perspective. I literally argued with the FTC Twitter this morning, and they were responding to me. So like I had arguments with them, and honestly, I was actually appreciative of their Twitter thing this morning, even though it was kind of out of control, because they were responding quickly and making changes and adding stuff to their policy pretty quickly for like
based
government
on guys
standards.
like you, like based on just random Twitter
Not just
dudes
me,
that say
but
this
like-
is how
like-
it should go, government. So fix your shit.
No, they were talking to actual people from Twitch. They were talking to people who know the industry, people who have been vetted and work there. You know, they were all, you know, they actually had conversations with them offline. So, you know, it's progress. You know, at least they're taking feedback immediately.
I guess I hope whatever comes out of this
This is still very much in flux.
speedier than the usual fare, because otherwise it's just going to be annoying. All this is, like I said at the very not the very beginning, but close to it. And not everyone's in this position, but thankfully I guess I am, is that I am going to buy personally every damn thing that I will review, short of some very expensive shit that I won't find problems with disclosing, because there will be a contract involved. It won't be some random shit in my inbox that I'm going to write a novella for. We applaud
your integrity.
That's and no, it's not even about integrity. If they gave it to me for free, I'd still tell them their game sucks some serious balls. I don't give a shit. That's just the risk you take. I have a guy that is constantly scouting for indie games, who people that want exposure for their stuff, and there will be money involved, and I will disclose it, but it is not going to stop me from shitting all over their game if it's a bad game, because at the end of the day, that's up to them to make a good game.
You want to know the review I trust the most? The review I trust the most is the one that says, I got paid for this and this thing is still shit. That's the review I trust the most.
But like I'm saying now, is that at the end of the day, there's not very many people that are in that position, and
they're not going to say that. It's not common.
I am apologetic to everyone who is now, because it's not just an annoyance. It's going to be a bit of paranoia for a while as to, you know, am I doing this properly, and am I doing it enough, and am I, you know, etc.
I'm just gonna make a mockery of it. I'm gonna go, yeah, guys. So this is an ad because of the FTC, and I just want to let everybody know that I was given this key because
just flash,
you know, just FTC, just put a big fucking hashtag ad on there.
I'm gonna put it. I think the title of this podcast is going to be hashtag ad. FTC gave us the free content for us to talk about on this podcast, or some such. Because it's a bit extreme. But let's move on. I think we've talked in circles enough that YouTube's gonna whine and bitch and complain about it. So let's move on to something else. Similar, but kind of sort of similar, I guess. Valve announced some changes to Steam user reviews, because review bombing has continued to be a bit of a problem on Steam. Usually what happens is the developer does something ridiculous, usually not particularly positive, and because you don't hear review bombing where the review goes through the roof, you hear review bombing
is a histogram
because
stuff, right?
It dies, yes. So in order to try and combat this, Steam now has like this histogram in place to show you, you know, kind of the nature of when these bad, reviews are coming through, to give you a better idea as to whether or not, you know, why these reviews are happening, and et cetera, et cetera. So, I mean, it's good certainly for Steam, because, you know, it means that these games perhaps don't get completely dumpstered by these scenarios, but at the same time, some of the reasoning behind it that I've seen, I don't 100% agree with, whereby they're discussing the fact that people are reviewing things not based on the game, but based on the developer, and my
like
counter to that would be, yeah, I was like, but yeah, my counter to that is, but wait, that actually means something. If you purchased a product, and then the company of the you know, let's say it's a car company, and then they go and do some crazy shit that you definitely don't agree with, and now you're upset about it, that's going to dramatically color your perception of not only the company, but the product that you now have in your possession. And it's likely going to change your opinion on it to the point where you're not going to recommend these products to people. And so, while there is probably an argument to be made as to whether or not the situations in which these review bombings occur, like what triggers the review bomb to happen, sometimes it seems to make kind of sort of okay sense, and sometimes it's just kind of ridiculous. I think that there is total merit to people not agreeing with what a company does and have that color their opinion of the product that they would inevitably review. What do you guys think about this thing? And this is all, by the way, in regards to, remember, PewDiePie's deal, and then Campo Santo, the people that made Firewatch, did copyright strikes for PewDiePie's
like playthrough, and all that stuff.
because of the backlash of what was going on, they didn't want their game associated with PewDiePie, so they used their copyright strike to take their videos down. And then when word got around that that's why they did that, then Firewatch got review bombed.
They were very public about it.
Yeah,
they were very. We don't want to enable him. We don't want him producing our content. So that was that.
Yeah,
wasn't it content honestly, that was already produced?
Yes, I didn't necessarily agree with the developer doing what they did. I don't agree with them doing what they did. But in terms of the actual stuff we're talking about, the review stuff, as long as Steam isn't mucking with how they're like weighing the reviews, and I still see my mixed, positive, very pot, whatever. If they just give me a graph, it's fine. It's just more information if I want to look at it. Otherwise, it's whatever. It's interesting to see. Hey, when did all of these negative things come in? Did it match up with a patch they released? Like, was there a patch that was really bad or what? It's just more info.
Well, I mean, I'm fine with it. PewDiePie makes a playthrough of Firewatch. Firewatch reaps all the benefits, sells a bajillion games because of PewDiePie, and just does not fucking complain in the least. Now that Firewatch is probably not selling any copies, I mean, the game came out long ago. There might be a straggler copy when it goes on sale on Steam.
They're not really selling many now.
No.
Yeah,
they take this opportunity. They take this opportunity in the most snake way possible, and they go and they put copyright strikes on PewDiePie's channel and take down content that he made long ago that promoted their stuff because they don't want to be associated with somebody that dropped an N-bomb. Now, isn't that such an easy out for them to make some headlines and act like the hero and thought that they were probably doing something super cool? Did people really go over to Firewatch on a play?
We're doing this for the advertisement.
We're doing this for the advertisement. Maybe they should have been up front because of the FTC. Isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that they would come out and they would do something like this? What do you think their motive was? Obviously to make headlines, to sell more games, because nobody was going back down to the Firewatch playthrough and hitting them up on the back end saying, oh, this is who you like to surround yourself with, people that drop N-bombs. I mean, get a fucking life. Seriously, they can't control what somebody does 5 years down the road. That's like what Adam said. If fucking Johnny Depp got caught drinking a Pepsi out in a fucking, Hollywood, and then a few years later he beats his wife, and then Pepsi goes, you know what? I can't believe Johnny Depp was drinking Pepsi. I don't want to associate myself with women beaters.
Pepsi drinkers are a bunch of wife beaters.
You know what? They should be drinking Coke because they're on Coke. Not Pepsi. I think that's ridiculous, and they deserve to get bombed on Steam and get fucking wrecked because of it. Because it's obviously that they're snakes. They had underlining motives, and it backfired on them, and good on them. Get fucked. That's all I gotta say. Get fucked.
I don't disagree with you. I was not referring to Campo Santo at all. I'm like, it's cool that Steam put that feature in. That's all I care about.
It's not a bad feature to have.
I completely disagree with what Firewatch and the developer did, is why I think it's a good feature.
Yeah, which is why I separated it into, it's more about the situations that these review bombings occur in, necessarily, more so than the fact that they happen
tell now
in the
from a
first
graph.
Place. Yes, exactly. But
that's part of it. That's part of the industry. It's like when in the movie business, an actor's decisions, what they do outside of the movie business, this whole Kevin Hart thing that he's going on where he cheated on his
morality
wife,
clauses and stuff.
That hurts. A movie that the Jumanji movie that's coming up, that may hurt the box office because of shit that he did on the outside. Now, it's up to the company to start firing people and holding people accountable for the dumb decision-making that they do. So if a company comes out and says something stupid or does something stupid, whether it is No Man's Sky doing some dumb shit, obviously they're going to go and get bombarded because of that. If it's Firewatch trying to do some snaky shit, they need to go ahead and get wrecked or prepare for the backlash of people that can see right through their shit. So obviously, I don't think it's a bad thing. It's cool that you're going to see a chart now, kind of like a stock market, on when the shit peaked and when it dropped and things like that, and why it did. And how many people are really looking into
so.
that? I don't know. I think it's probably a small subset of a small group that'll actually like get in there and, oh, does this game really deserve my $40? Well, I ought to take a look at the graphs and do my research and figure out why that dropped at a certain. I mean, there's very few people that'll do that. I think mainly it's great for reviewers to come out and say, hey, I know that the game is getting reamed on Steam, but here's a reason why it is getting reamed. Does that make it a bad game? No, but since they did do these shady things and have done these things in the past, will that influence your decision on buying the game or not? Are you going to boycott this game because of the decisions outside of the game itself? And that
it also works on the other way. Like if a game, again, I'm just going to mention No Man's Sky, not to start a discussion. It's just like if a game comes out, doesn't do so great, but then it releases patches, and those patches are actually good, and they add a lot of stuff. You know, you'll kind of see that in the graph saying, hey, a patch came out, it got a bunch of really good reviews. Hey, another patch came out, it coincides with, another bunch of good reviews. It might make you think like, okay, you know what? When this game goes on sale, I'll pick it up. So something like that. There is a positive side
there's
to
definitely,
it.
Yeah, well, there's absolutely, I like what Steam's doing here for sure. I think it's great. And again, obviously not everyone's going to use it, but it's good that it's there anyway. The thing is for me with this that got me, was that while technically speaking, Campo Santo is 100% in the legal right to take down those videos, because at the end of the day, Let's Play videos aren't actually a legal thing. There's just like an under the table kind of nudge, wink, wink. Yeah, I'll let you do that because it's advertising and we're not going to bother taking your shit down, but we can if we want to. Like that's just the way it is. Because it's not transformative enough, unfortunately. So, they're fully legally able to do that. It's just that in this instance, this is not really what DMCA is supposed to be used for. So it's like a weird, really shady, kind of fucked up way of but you can't even call it abusing it, but it is and it isn't. It's in a legal
it's a completely
sense,
legal abuse of
it's a loophole.
Yes,
it's a loophole.
It's a loophole.
And it's one of those things where it go, I probably shouldn't do this, but I've got the total right, so I'm gonna fucking do it anyway. It's like that's what it is. It's a gray area loophole that in certain circumstances, absolutely. If
Firewatch was still relevant right now, like if it had just come out,
or if Firewatch 2 was coming out or something like that,
yeah, I'd be like,
an up and coming.
All right,
project.
guys, I understand why you did it, but like, you guys aren't doing anything right now at the immediate moment. Was it really necessary to do this now? I know you wanted to make a statement, but like,
I know
why bother?
It's gonna be a little difficult though, because
DMCA and when Firewatch 2 comes out.
With DMCA stuff, when there is so much under the table nudge, wink, wink, and from a legal standpoint, to my understanding, like in business law and stuff, there are certain laws in which after a certain amount of time, whereby two parties are doing something knowingly on a scale that is publicly enough. Like partnership, for example, at least in Canada, if two people are shown to be doing things in business together directly for a certain period of time, and then something were to happen, or there was fallout, and one guy is trying to take all of the shit, there is a point of no return in which you can show that you've been working in a business capacity together, and it becomes legally a partnership whereby you're now splitting everything 50-50. So in this instance, while it's obviously difficult in the landscape of YouTube to have tabs on your game from every Let's Player down from the 0 view all the way up to PewDiePie, in an instance where this is PewDiePie we're talking about, and it's obviously super well known, he played your game. You fucking know damn well. You were probably excited.
You saw the spike. You saw the huge spike. You tweeted it out.
Sales.
You were pumped.
Fucking, you were jacked.
We made it.
You knew that he did that. You probably enjoyed it, and you enjoyed sales from it. So, and then to years later do it, and then on top of that, publicly state that it isn't even because he did it, but because he dropped an N-bomb and you don't agree with it. That I feel like
What about all the Nazi comments? Why didn't you do it then? Why are you doing it now? Because it's a bigger deal. It's the hot topic. You don't care about the Jewish people, but you care about the blacks. Okay.
I feel like I feel like with enough money
in the code somewhere.
Now hold on, Panic. I feel like with enough money and the right lawyer, PewDiePie, if he really wanted to, could take that to court, and there'd be a new precedent set in these instances whereby influencers, since it's the fucking hot word of the day, have a time lapse whereby if a company is not going to take down your content for specific reasons not listed as a part of the DMCA, they can't do that as a retroactive move in the future. They can't choose to do that because it's almost like a company where they're protecting intellectual property like Nintendo. Everyone gets on Nintendo. Whenever a fan project comes up, you see Nintendo come up and fucking crush that shit instantaneously. Blizzard does it with World of Warcraft. Every time, like for the longest time, whenever an independent server would crop up to have like vanilla WoW, you know, it'd go by, somebody like Polygon would be an idiot and fucking post a thing about it. Now Blizzard knows about it because Polygon ran their fucking mouth. And then here comes Blizzard and fucking crush that server and everyone's crying about Blizzard. But at the end of the day, it's because if Blizzard allows that to happen, then there is now legal footing for somebody else to come around and say, well, guess what, motherfuckers? You didn't enforce your shit over here, so what makes this any different?
Pretty much that's what I was trying to say. Like, there's something in the Uniform Commercial Code, there's something called the Uniform Partnership Act. It's been amended, like, it gets amended every couple of years. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I'm pretty sure they have like a whole section on like informal partnerships and like what happens in a bunch of different scenarios. So I'm sure there's a very strong possibility that PewDiePie could probably, if he really wanted to, do some sort of litigation. But again,
he definitely could if
it's a pain in the ass. It costs money.
He's got a fuck ton of money, and money wins everything.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, but I mean,
he made his own law.
And just like you said, it would probably set some precedent somewhere on a decision.
Yeah. Yeah, and eventually that's going to happen. Eventually, in this space, a company is going to do some shit, and it's going to be at the wrong time, and a YouTuber that has more money than a fucking game developer.
Well, we saw it with H3H3, right?
Yes, yeah,
where they won the lawsuit
similar...
against a guy that did that took his video down and sued him, and then they reposted the video. Get fucked.
Yeah, get fucked. Yeah. Transformative parody. Now there's going to be a precedent set for future court cases whereby H3's case has gone through and they won, and now it's going to be easier for a judge. If it even resembles that case, the judge is going to be saying, well, you know, by H3H3 versus Cockbiter 2017, you can't do this shit. Get bent. Get the fuck out of my court. I'm going to go have a fucking smoke and a pipe and a fucking drink, bud. And then just fucking leave the court.
Did you actually read the decision from that?
Oh, yeah.
Like
no, I didn't. Oh, yes, I did. Yes, I did. I read it, and it was savage. Oh my god, it was savage. I loved it.
It was one of the things when I was in college. I took a bunch of business law classes, but some of those decisions and some of those judgments that have come out,
they're amazing,
are brilliant, and they're actually fun to read. So
judges can sometimes you get the right judge, and they have a personality. They're absolutely fucking savage, and I love it. It's brilliant. I absolutely love it.
In legalese.
Let's move on to this is. All right, luckily most of the rest of this stuff is actually just quick kind of run through. I don't know if you guys saw this, but the Nintendo Switch has an embedded Nintendo Golf ROM and emulator, okay, that hackers found when they were, you know, going through doing their hacker shit, whatever they're trying to do, trying to crack the Switch. And they found it, and it was listed as like flog, which is just, you know, golf backwards or whatever. And then they found what looked to be a NES emulator in that same file system. And so the question then became, well, what the shit is this doing here, and you know, why? And after a whole bunch of nonsense goes down, apparently Nintendo has put this in here as tribute to Iwata, who was the old president who he coded that game back in '84 himself, and it unlocks only on the day of his passing, July 11th, I believe it was, when you use the fucking gesture that he used for Nintendo Direct in the most fucking dope shit I have ever heard a company do. They embedded that shit in their consoles, and it's like, and people are taking it as like a Japanese, Oma.
They have that culture thing.
Yeah, but it's basically like a good
the
luck
Guardian
term
thing.
Yeah,
the
basically
Guardian good
for all
luck
intents
term.
and purposes. And I just
shoulda
found that
cheer.
so fucking dope. It's like Nintendo does a lot of stupid shit, but this is
that's
some
cool.
crazy
They got
next
heart.
level
They got heart.
next level stuff in that one. So
They brought the great honor.
Your great honor. So yeah, 150 points to Gryffindor. Thank you, Nintendo. 10 out of 10. Remember last week, guys, we talked about how nobody should actually go toe-to-toe with PUBG. Well, as it turns out, Epic totally wants to go toe-to-toe with PUBG. So, and not only are they doing it, but they're doing it kind of savagely. So Fortnite obviously has its own standalone, like, pay for, you know, there's a campaign type deal, whatever, that's ongoing updates. Fortnite says, or Epic says, you know what we're going to do,
Wait,
guys?
it's coming out already?
Yes, next week. Okay, so, and not just on
What?
PC.
I thought it was a couple of months away.
No. Not just on PC. They're releasing this Battle Royale for free to play with obviously you can pay to have, like, you know, gear and stuff, but nothing that affects the game. It's all cosmetic, okay? And it will forever be free, and it's going to release next week in like 6 days as of this recording, I think it is, on PC, Xbox, and PS4, beating PUBG to consoles by like 2 months or somewhere in that neighborhood, or like a month or so. And you know what's really messed up? I was watching somebody play it today, and it is so much more stable than PUBG is, and it's got way more going on in it. It's not just dudes on a map shooting each other. You build shit on the fly. It's like, it's crazy. It's way more going on, and yet they've got this shit locked, and it's going to consoles.
Does this actually look good though,
PUBG.
Adam? Like, cause I played Fortnite for a couple hours. Like, I was given a founder pack, by a friend of mine.
Hashtag
so
ad.
I was playing it.
So that's the loophole.
Yeah, probably hashtag ad.
That's the loophole.
Yeah.
So as long as you get it from a friend and
Yes,
not
But that's
from
the thing. No, but I'm
Epic.
not done yet.
Okay.
No.
I wasn't done yet. I was saying I played it a lot, and while I had fun, the game had no legs. Like, it was one of those games that I played it for like 4 days straight, and then I just stopped. I'm like, I really don't care about this anymore. So that's why I'm really like, when I saw the Battle Royale thing, I'm like, oh, this is them just trying to save their game, which is still early access and hasn't even come out yet, from like trying to be relevant. But like, if it actually looks good, oh my God.
Okay,
oh my
so
God.
I watched it play today, right? So it's not out yet, but people obviously have access to it as it stands. Some streamers and stuff, whatever. I don't know the extent of the I don't know the extent of it. I don't know if it's open beta or whatever it is. But anyway, I watched
like
it
the
being
actual
played.
game, you have to like gather stuff and you have to build all your fortresses and stuff.
so-
You can do that in the Battle Royale mode.
Yes, you do that in Battle Royale on the fly.
Which I think is cool as hell. That's pretty
Which
cool.
is fucking crazy. So people are faking people out. They'll be building like shit on the side, and then you think they're in there, and all of a sudden, surprise, you know, motherfucker, shotgun,
Surprise,
and all this
motherfucker.
stuff. Like, there is a whole. Obviously, it probably has problems. Let's be completely honest. But everything I watched, there was no like real. There were no
the
server
actual
issues. There were no
game-
hitches. Everything
Yeah, the game
seemed to
itself
work.
underneath is solid from tech wise. Epic did well with it, but there wasn't a game to it though. Other than that,
but it looks. I don't know about the single player thing. I think that's probably whatever. I think even they know the single player thing's not going to do them all that well. But this could probably do pretty well. It's going to reach a wider market than PUBG because of the graphics and the way that it's you know placed.
Yep.
You
keep your
looks,
customization.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Because this has got a fuck ton of customization compared to Fortnite.
Like it works well enough that I'm watching somebody build a bridge under their feet as they're running across the water to beat the circle. Like it just works well, and it looks pretty if you like PUBG and you don't mind the different graphic style, and obviously it's going to play differently in terms of the weapons and stuff that you have, but the environment's destructible because obviously you can harvest things to begin with. So bases are destructible, trees and everything that people hide behind, crates, all this stuff is destructible. It's probably not something that I would personally play. Maybe I'll check it out at some point, but it doesn't fall in my category. But I think just by looking at it, that since it plays so well, and it isn't a popular genre right now, and it's going to beat PUBG to consoles and everything, I think it might actually do really well.
I'll see how this goes. I thought this was going to be a complete like clusterfuck shit show that was just a gimmick, but
There's this.
I'm
There's one
curious
thing.
now.
The Epic makes really good games. I mean, the Unreal
yeah,
engine
Unreal.
is incredible. It's a pretty looking game. It's not like, you know, it doesn't look like Paragon in terms of it's more cartoony.
As a side note, PUBG is done in the Unreal Engine.
Oh, well.
Yeah, but you have the Unreal Engine guys doing a game in their own
Obviously,
engine.
Epic,
GG.
obviously, Epic is the creator of Unreal Engine, but yeah, still, just as a point,
They
it is
obviously
Unreal
can
Engine.
use it. They can obviously use it a lot better.
Yeah,
And have you know, is willing to pour in the money to do so. But one thing that Epic has been kind of really bad at is creating community buzz, and if this is a smart decision that they're doing. They're rushing it out. Even if there are some problems, as long as they're on top of patches, which they have been with Paragon, they've been doing really well with updating Paragon and being open with the community with what they're doing. I think that they're not gonna beat fucking Player Unknown in any way. Player Unknown, when that shit drops on,
be the second.
When they drop down on consoles, I mean, it's over. I mean, it's done. But Panic, I do agree with Panic. There is a good chance that they can be the second front runner. I think they're going to surpass H1Z1.
You've got League
in every
and
way.
Dota, you've got PUBG
and
Fortnite.
in a space like this that is where there's not a whole lot of competition,
people want alternatives.
Second place is good. Second place is great, and you're right. They do want an alternative. And eventually, if a Player Unknown makes any huge issues or they don't fix the issues that are in their game, people may go, let me try out this Fortnite, and they may end up liking it. Or it only takes a week of Dr. Disrespect or a week of Summit or a week of Josh OG or whoever to play this game and fall in love with it, and next thing you know it, there can be a snowball effect. So and the fact that
that's
they're
what Epic needs to rely
available
on.
everywhere, I think it's a great life choice. I'm rooting for Epic here.
Competition
I'm actually,
in the space right now for PUBG would be amazing because PUBG needs it.
They need to get kicked in the ass and start making some changes quickly, right? There needs to be some fear in them, and to improve their game. It's only going to make the experience better because they already have a great game. They just need to tweak it so that it's playable
need to actually sit
all the
down
time
and hit it with
it's
a polishing
reliable.
cloth.
Yeah.
They need to sit down and be like, you know what? Instead of pushing out new stuff, let's actually fix problems. It's like, let's buff that, let's buff out these scratches here. Let's fix this problem. Let's give people vaulting. Let's give them, stuff that they've been needing to kind of work on those
some of the
aspects.
people that are bigger streamers are starting to really get annoyed with PUBG's broken shit.
Especially when you get bored of the game, right?
I was watching Doc before the cast tonight because he was on or whatever. I was watching him and he was, Doc stays in character, but he's super fucking pissed, right? Like you can tell you had enough, and he actually said, you know what I should do? I'm gonna start this, today this cast. I'm gonna start putting all of my highlights together of all the bullshit that's happened today, and just Twitter bomb the shit out of PUBG for all of this fuckery. I'll be watching, and the chat would be losing their mind, and Doc fucking shaking his head like what the hell is happening, but you'll be watching him, a dude standing perfectly still, and Doc's got a sniper rifle 4X, and the dude's only about, 200 meters out, and he aims it fucking perfectly, and the guy doesn't move an inch, bullet doesn't register fucking dick all, takes another shot, nothing at all, and it happens with like shotguns and everything else, and Doc would be getting killed by like pea shooters from across the map, while this is happening, and he was just getting so salty about it. And it happens to me too. I was in a match the other day. The chat lost their mind. Somebody clipped it too. I walked up behind two dudes in an apartment building, both trying to corner one of my teammates, and neither of them knew I was there. And I had an automatic, I had an AR with me, and I unloaded full clip into a dude. And I'm not even 10 feet. 2 bullets registered out of the entire clip. He turned around with a pistol, shot me twice, and I died, and I had a level, 2 or 3 helmet.
Yep.
And at that point, the chat was like, that's pretty, because obviously I complain all the time about PUBG, and they're like, it's whatever, and then something like that happens, and they go, okay, I'm going to give you this one. That was pretty fucked up. And, bigger streamers are starting to notice it. So yes, I hope that this lights a fire under their ass a little bit, if they do well with it, with Fortnite. And I hope other people eventually come in to do the same thing, because they you know, as much as I love the game, and I do, I have a great amount of enjoyment with it. It's a bad look when you make that much money and you're spending, you know, you start releasing all these extra features, which is great, but people are just sitting there the whole time going, as nice as this is, and we appreciate that you added fog and now the game is even campier than it was before, could you please do us a favor and just fix the game a bit before you start adding more features? We can't shoot people. That's a problem. Let's get the shooting done, and then we'll worry about adding fog to the map later.
I want to hire Keenan Thompson and just have him sit in the offices and be like, "Fix it."
Yes, exactly.
Just like yell, walk behind developers and yell, "Fix it."
And I apologize. Magazine, not clip. Somebody's gonna lose their shit over that for sure. Guaranteed. Somebody's crying.
Yeah,
right now
I'm
over
downloading Fortnite right now. I'm in queue.
Oh, hashtag ad.
The building part of it's fun. I played it a fair amount, but there's nothing much else going on at the time.
So yeah, I mean, it's yeah, and the thing about Fortnite that I'm interested in, I haven't watched enough of it to know, but if you can do duos and stuff eventually in Fortnite, and there's the building mechanic, how
it was like a small squad game.
Yeah,
is that
it was like a small
to be?
squad game. Like you'd have like a team of 4 people to do the missions and stuff, and you'd all build together and stuff. So you know,
in
I didn't
Battle
think we
Royale,
could scale up
like,
to 100.
I can almost guarantee Battle Royale will have a team-based element as well.
That'll be very interesting to watch at that point, I think.
Yeah, just building camps with each other. It just adds another element to it.
On the fly,
and it's,
right?
And it's not, yeah, that's nice. And you can create your own, instead of just using the same map and the same, you know, cheesy spots to camp and things like that, you make your own thing. If you're in a bad position, you can create your own structure and you can build your own stuff on the fly. And like Adam said, like running over water and building shit and you know, it's just, it adds another element to it that only works in a game like Fortnite. You know, it's animated. It's not as serious. It's not I can't even call battle unknown or player unknown a sim because there's so much unrealistic things as well that it contradicts itself. They try and it's the closest thing. Yeah. It's the closest thing to like you know, Arma or something like that in a battle royale format. But what's nice about Fortnite is it doesn't take itself too serious, and it's good for people that are, you know, want to just have some fun outside of, you know, acting, going, what's going on, China number 1, and acting crazy, which you can still do, but the game's a little bit more lighthearted. So, anyway, let's move on.
Apparently, duos and stuff happen when the game releases on the 26th, so that is a thing.
There you go.
Yep. So, yeah, so hopefully that goes over well. I do. I wish them all the best on that one. Moving on. Oh, this is a nice quick one. Remember the original Xbox controller? That monster. That absolute monster, okay? For people with hands like mine. For everyone else, worst controller. Yeah, Jeff's gonna have one back there.
Christmas ham hands. Christmas ham hands.
For the people with just big-ass hands, it was a godsend because all the other consoles had these little itty-bitty controllers where I was just interlocking fingers and shit was all awkward, and then here comes the Xbox and it's a monster controller. They are apparently releasing an updated version of that controller, the Duke is what it's called, for the Xbox One and PC with a breakaway cable, you know, like the 10-foot breakaway cable that you get with other recent controllers from for Xbox. And then you'll remember in that old controller it had that big ass Xbox logo right in the middle of it because the controller was so big, it had so much real estate, they just decided to put a big friggin' Xbox logo in the middle. Apparently that's going to be an LED screen. What they're going to use that for, I have no idea. But if somebody doesn't mod it, then I can play Skyrim. No. If I can have Skyrim and use the controller while playing Skyrim on that, that is the ultimate dream for the Duke controller. But I thought that was kind of cool. I don't know. What?
Has Skyrim been ported to the Dreamcast VMU yet?
Somebody's probably working on it.
Probably. Got like 10 people at Bethesda. Jeff's still running around back looking for a controller.
For a controller right now.
We're going to move on by the time he sits down.
Yeah, looking for the Duke. Did he find one?
Oh, I think he has one.
No, I think he's got the S. Is that the S? That's the S.
I have the big one in
it's the S model
in the other room because this is not the
that's the S.
Yeah, that's not the original.
That's the one for us normal people.
Actually, yeah, keep talking. I'll be right back. I think I
know. Okay. I don't have that much
more
to talk about
the
this
next
controller.
one. Do you want to talk about the next one while Jeff goes to get it, just because? I don't think Jeff cares about this one.
Yeah, probably not. So it seems that Square Enix just can't let Final Fantasy 15 die. We are getting the Final Fantasy 15 multiplayer expansion this Halloween, whereby after Chapter 13, you can create your own, Glavesman whatever, and join up with your friends to try and make the monotony of Final Fantasy 15 hunt grind a little bit less boring, I guess. I don't know. I'm confused.
I'm not going to say boring. I'm going to say make it a little less lonely.
There you go. That's probably it. You need the base game plus the expansion,
You'll
and
be
then if you're on the
bored
consoles, yes, you need to also have, of course, your Xbox Live Gold or your PlayStation 4, Gold, whatever memberships in order to get the multiplayer access. So there's a lot of money piled in here to get multiplayer capabilities for Final Fantasy 15, and then on top of that, of course, they're still going to release towards the end of the year sometime, I think, or early next. More expansion stuff of the mainline story, the Ignis Prompto, whatever. But yeah, so yay, good job, Square. For the love of God, let Final Fantasy 15 die.
I'm not even gonna say yay. I'm gonna say
just
nay.
let it die.
Are we still talking about Final Fantasy 15?
Dude, they're releasing.
We started that while you were gone.
They're releasing a multiplayer mode for it now.
Just stop.
Just stop.
Yeah, we said no.
Okay.
Just let it be done. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they are still selling this game like crazy. I don't know, but I can't. There are a few games that I've played in the last 5 years that I have liked less than Final Fantasy 15. And
I played for 2 hours and never put it back in my PS4. I'm gonna be honest.
You know what the best part of Final Fantasy 15 was?
Did you go back to GameStop and sell it back to them?
No, I still got it sitting in the air.
You know the best part of that game was? In the first 3 minutes, it was the game getting you to do a quick time event and push the car. That was the greatest part of Final Fantasy 15.
I did,
and it was all downhill from there. Oh, they also
the
had
best
that
part about
fishing.
Final Fantasy 15 for me.
What?
Was when you started tweeting out hashtag Amex Life, and it was a real thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot Amex Life. I thought I was making up a hashtag because Amex has ads in Final Fantasy 15. Like you go to the store and there's an Amex sticker on the window, and so it was just great disclosure on that one. Like the cup noodle ad friggin' side quest that they had in there, but the Amex Life one. I thought I was making up a hashtag, and I wasn't. Apparently, Amex Life was totally a company-used hashtag, and so that hashtag was just berated with random Final Fantasy 15 pictures that I was taking and posting them on Twitter. It was absolutely amazing. But yeah, they also have that fishing game coming. So Final Fantasy 15, you're home for single-player Final Fantasy, multiplayer Final Fantasy, egregious single-player campaign DLC Final Fantasy, and your fishing simulator of choice in VR.
If you guys want to play Final Fantasy in multiplayer, go play Final Fantasy 14 and just skip 15. Yeah. 14 is the one you want. Don't mix up the numbers.
No, it's just my body. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to finally end this segment. This is a long one, girls. We're gonna end this segment.
Much. We're in time.
We still got to talk about TVs and movie before we move on to tech support. We got a couple, but on the other side
we
of
went
this.
super long.
Well, let's just keep it going. Let's just get this. Let's get this done.
Just keep it going. You don't want to take a break?
It. Let's just go. Nah, man.
Okay, fine.
Let's just go. We can hammer through. This
we don't even get our own
minutes.
hashtag ad. There's no help me, help you know, or help
we'll do
us,
it after
help
segment
you, help
two.
us and you.
We'll do it at whatever. I mean, if you want to play the ad, go ahead.
Here's the micro solo. Go to patreon.com/technicalalpha and help us get closer to 5,000 so we can play Dungeons and Dragons and make ourselves look stupid.
We've gone up. I checked it today. I didn't check it since last week.
Thanks to Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah, no, there's others too. Yeah.
Yes.
So we got some other people in there.
Yeah, we're at 41?
4110.
I think 4110. Nice. So we're getting there.
The dream.
We really do appreciate the support from all of you guys. It's really helpful.
Absolutely.
It's really awesome, and we hope you guys are enjoying the show. Leave us feedback.
And the merch is on its way. It's coming out.
Yes.
So, slowly but
how
surely
much is left to send out?
About half.
Okay. Well,
been
we're
a bad week at work.
Of the way there. Yeah, I know about your week at work. I don't blame you. So yeah, all right. Well, then with that sellout out of the way, that hashtag ad. Hey guys, Logan was a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it was good.
I thought it was well done. I thought it was probably the best that they could have ended those two characters with the actors that were portraying them for so long. Was probably the most powerful part for me, was that you could definitely tell that was part of what they wanted to do this movie for, was to signal the end of the era of these two guys doing these two roles. And apparently Fox believes Logan should be an Oscar contender. What do you guys think about that?
Do we know
Is there
what
any
they're
part of
considering
Logan
it for?
Well, no, I
Best
don't
Picture or
think they
something?
I don't think they specified. But if there was an Oscar out there, do you think that it's a contender for something?
I don't think it's a.
No. It's a good
Yeah.
movie, but it's not an Oscar movie.
Yeah, I don't think it's Oscar worthy. As much as I loved Logan, I thought it was great, but to be an Oscar contender, I'm not sure. I mean, Hugh Jackman's performance in it was great. No. I'm trying to find it, but it's no. And you know, I'm all for Oscars appreciating
Not being Oscar
and
bait.
Exactly. I'm all for them going for not like huge Hollywood blockbusters like a Transformers or some shit like that, but movies like this, like a caliber like this. I'm not saying no because it's Logan. I'm saying no because I honestly don't think there's anything Oscar worthy in that film. But I think if they are, is it the Oscars talking about this, or is it somebody else talking about this? Like, is this like a
This
This is Fox, like executive.
oh, okay, it's Fox.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
No, I mean,
I think it's them just trying to puff themselves up. Like, honestly, again, just because it's not Oscar worthy doesn't mean it's not a great movie, but the Oscars are more for like art form, like high,
I think I see what you're saying. I agree that there should be a level of like not sophistication, but like some level of professionalism in terms of like the way it's presented. It's almost like going to a very, very important business meeting and walking into the business meeting wearing, Under Armour and just going in there and you're getting ready to do a huge deal or pitching for somebody that is very business oriented that's probably in, a $2,000 suit. And just because you're dressed in Under Armour doesn't make you it doesn't make you any less of a worker or a pitch or anything like that in terms of what you bring to the table. It's just out of respect.
You don't match the audience.
Yeah, you have to present yourself in a certain way. There are movies that are great in their own right, but are not fit for the Oscar type umbrella. But I truly believe that even if, say, Logan, for example, I'm not saying no to Logan because it's Logan. But if Hugh Jackman made one hell of a performance, like a moving, crazy, and it was still moving and he did a great job, but it was more of Hugh Jackman doing Wolverine that we've seen before. It wasn't anything breakout or worthy of like, oh man, he totally changed the game, or he brought something that was just transcended film or anything like that. If he went in there or somebody went in there and switched it up and brought that level that I was just kind of alluding to, then absolutely nominate Logan and put that up there. But there is nothing in Logan that was worthy of being an Oscar contender. Come on.
I kind of want to, I agree with you exactly. One of the things I want to add there is I don't feel like any superhero movie would ever kind of reach that level, because if you think about it, like superheroes and comics and all of that, they do have sophisticated themes and stuff in them, but at a fundamental level, they go for that childlike wonder and they're aiming for a completely different underlying feeling, and those characters aren't necessarily as deep. They aren't as nuanced. They aren't,
I feel like,
they won't have the writing behind it that's going to necessarily give you that Oscar-worthy, like, performance. It's hard to do with that kind of source material.
The only one that I think would have maybe done it, and the Oscars from where they are today, all because of the boycotting because of black actors and all this other shit, where Oscars are trying to like not look so whitewashed and just so white, because it was like that for a very long time, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. I think even they did to an extent, but I feel like in The Dark Knight, what's his face?
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger, thank you.
Oh,
no, Heath Ledger. No. Heath Ledger. I think if he had made that performance in this day and age, and we hadn't already seen that performance already, and it was something new and fresh, I think there would be an argument for an Oscar nomination. Maybe not a win, but definitely something that should be recognized on the highest level
that was a tremendous performance
of acting. So I think he is really the only one and the only time in a comic book franchise that would have actually had that level of gravitas or whatever, the prestigious, however shit you want to look at it, right?
I don't want to say those words for it because I'm like, that's not what I'm thinking. It's just,
I know
it's hard to,
Yeah, I think that I don't know if I necessarily agree that superhero movies are like at a disadvantage.
I feel like maybe The Watchmen, but I feel
I think that it's just dependent on how they're framed. I think Logan is approaching the direction in which a superhero movie brings itself into Oscar contention based on the feeling and the themes of the movie,
on the upper
right?
end.
So it's approaching there, it's getting there, and I can appreciate why Fox would be sending out all these copies and stuff and trying to get, in the talks for whatever. I would agree that I don't think Logan is necessarily there, but I would like to see more. And I think, and I want to believe that Logan did well enough that we're going to see more superhero movies done to the tone of Logan. Because I think that there are totally characters with enough depth in superheroes. I mean, we're talking about characters that have been worked and reworked over like some of them 50 plus years, right? And comics aren't always skippy, go lucky, go happy. There's a lot of dark and deep and kind of all the broody fuckery that the Oscars love to have sometimes in them.
Heath Ledger actually did, someone in chat let us know, but Heath Ledger actually did win Best Supporting Actor for that role.
Yeah,
and so it's possible.
I totally forgot about that, but I think was
totally
that after his passing?
Yeah, he was dead before the movie came out.
So yeah, that's right. It's been so long. So
yeah.
I feel like if he didn't pass away, would he have been nominated and would he have won the Oscar? That's the thing. And there was a lot of I mean, there was a lot of talk about how he locked himself in his hotel and lived and totally became that character. If he didn't pass away, if he was living, would it have been the same thing? We don't know. And that was always the discussion. Now that I'm thinking
I don't even want to
it.
question it because
and he deserved it. I mean, absolutely.
Yeah.
It was.
I
even talked about it. Yeah.
Artists in general, as soon as they die, the value of anything they do goes through the roof. And everyone looks at it in a different light. It's just kind of the way it is. It's unfortunate. It's kind of the way it is. I mean, look at just as somebody else who's in the movie with him, look at what Christian Bale's done in his career. To his body and just to his own. I mean, by most accounts, most people consider Christian Bale a bit of an asshole. But the dude puts himself through some crazy shit.
Dedication.
For his roles. Like what was it, The Machinist or whatever was like the one where he weighed like 4.5 pounds on a good day, soaking wet, and he looked like he was literally going to die. Like if he died for that, is he just going to get like every award known to man because he gave a great performance and he weighed 13 pounds, right? So there is unfortunately some merit to would Ledger have gotten it if he survived.
There's definitely merit to that discussion. For me personally, again, it's not one thing that I want to. I don't like indulging. Like I've had people say, "Oh, he wouldn't have gotten it if he died." I'm like, Yeah, but the performance was friggin' amazing. So you know what? I'm gonna give it to him. Let him have it. Like, phenomenal job.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and I don't think anybody here is debating that. We all. No, I mean, I had forgotten, and I totally had forgotten, and I even brought up that he could have won an Oscar, and it just so happened that he did. Now that it's all coming back.
So yeah, it's. So yeah. I think Logan is approaching it. I agree. I don't think Logan gets, needs to be, up there with others for the Oscars, but I like that Logan. My favorite thing about Logan is that it happened and then it was done the way that it was done, and that it went over as well as it did, because now it gives me hope that more, like I said, more movies in the superhero universes might be done in that kind of more serious tone and get that kind of thing.
All right, are they doing Spawn or something?
Yeah, Spawn is going to be rated R. Yeah.
Nice.
That'd be wicked. Can you imagine PG-13 Spawn? Would be so shit. Tom Cruise. I had this in because I thought this was fucking hilarious. Tom Cruise has got an ego just so easily bruised, this poor guy. And there is a picture that has gone around the internet from Valkyrie in some scene where Tom's doing a roll or something. And his ass is
huge.
I mean,
it's looking
Sir
black.
Mix-a-Lot would be rocking a halfway on that one. Like, that is a big black ass in those pants. And either it's not Tom Cruise or he's wearing some butt pads, because Tom Cruise does not have a hugely disproportionate ass. At all. And so anyway, this goes around and everyone's talking about Tom Cruise, because I mean, Tom Cruise is already known to be on soapboxes and shit in scenes. He wears platforms inside of his sneakers. He hates that he's like, I don't know, whatever he is, 5'9" or whatever, fucking 5'8", and he's walking around all these taller people. All the women are taller than him and shit, and he just hates it. So I mean, there's already things about Cruise that we know. It wouldn't shock me if he had ass pads. I need ass pads. I'm as flat as a fucking board back there. If I was in the theater doing that kind of work, I'd probably be rocking one too. Would it be that big? Maybe not.
No, well, the reason why he had the ass pads is because he was doing a scene where he was getting knocked on his ass over and over and over again. So they put ass pads on him to protect his ass.
Probably not something they fixed. Yeah,
it wasn't like that for the whole movie. It was for that specific scene. He was wearing ass pads.
It's like they capped a random frame where his pants are like pulled completely tight, and it looks like he's having a rough time. So you know what? Give the guy some ass pads.
But the funniest part about that is he didn't say that when he was asked about it or it was brought up. He just outright said, "No, man, I wasn't wearing any butt pad at all. That was all me. That's not an ass pad. I wouldn't wear them. If I moon people, I moon them like it's me mooning them." Like, that's what he said. So there was no like, "Oh, I was falling on my ass for 5 hours." It was, nope, that's all Tommy.
It's definitely not all Tommy. I'm sorry, Tom.
I just thought it was hilarious. This is one of the funniest things I read today. It was great that it even happened. Hey, remember we talked about how Terminator just doesn't want to go away? Well, Terminator 6, totally a thing. Cameron is producing it. Who was it? Deadpool's Tim Miller is directing it, and Linda Hamilton, who I don't know how old she is now, but she's not a spry chicken anymore, is apparently reprising her role as Sarah Connor in Terminator 6. Now, apparently it is a sequel directly to Judgment Day, so Terminator 2. I don't know what that means for the timeline, because Sarah Connor is not going to look particularly young. I think
it's going to be whatever. It's going to be like it's going to be
Salvation and Rise of Machines are gone, according to the canon.
Yeah, I think she's just going to play an older Sarah O'Connor, and I don't know what. They just need to let this franchise just go away.
The only Terminator I want to see or wanted to continue seeing was Sarah Connor Chronicles, and Fox axed that. That was the only Terminator that I was interested in seeing more of. I felt like after Terminator 1 and Judgment Day, they had a good rap. They had a good TV series going, and they killed it. So at this point, I'm like, I don't really care anymore. Stop like rehashing old-ass actors in their roles. You want to reboot it, or just let it die.
But hey, I guess good on Linda for getting her role back.
Arnie's in it too, apparently.
You did it. Arnie's in it too.
They're all
I can't hate.
They're going to be fucking walking zombies.
Arnie's got that roid game on. He's like 70 years old, and he looks like he could pick up a tank, and he coincidentally owns one. So he might actually, for all we know, he could be squatting his tank out in the backyard, riding the roids off into the sunset. Donald Glover, who, if somebody asked me who is the most Renaissance man of Renaissance men on the planet, I'm going to go with Donald Glover every single time. I feel like this is an individual that from a young age decided that he was going to do a little bit of everything and be particularly fucking amazing at it in some way, shape, or form. This dude literally feels like he does everything. And at this point, somebody... and again, does it well.
He does it well.
So, probably one of the most talented people in the industry in just period. Somebody asked him, "Hey, would you direct a Star Wars movie given the opportunity?" And even he was like, "It's a lot to take on, but I'd love to." And I put this in here because I just wanted to know what your guys' thoughts would be on Donald directing a Star Wars movie, and if so, would it be a side project one, or do you think he'd be better off with the mainline one? And what would it look like? What do you think a Donald Glover Star Wars looks like?
I want him to do the young Lando movie. Let him be young Lando and let him direct it.
I'd be okay with that. Just
mull that over. Man, I don't know. It's like I love Donald Glover. I mean, I can't.
Childish Gambino.
I can't think of anything that the guy has done that has been bad. Like I'm just like on the top of my head, I really like everything that this guy has touched.
No, for real.
Even if the movies haven't been the greatest, he always did well with what he was given. It's the guy, obviously, his agent picks really good roles. He only takes stuff he's passionate about. You don't see him in some like shitty B-rated garbage, or he does quality stuff all the time, and he gives it 100. Would I put him? Would I give him a Star Wars movie? I don't think so. I would let him star in his Lando movie or whatever. Absolutely, and I think that'd be great. Would I want him to do one in terms of directing it? No, I don't think. I would like to see him do some other projects on the side so I can kind of see what he could do. Now, with that being said, if they did give him a Star Wars movie to direct, I would go in there fairly optimistic, but at the same time, I'd go, okay, let's. I wouldn't be mad about it, but I probably wouldn't complain about it. I'd be intrigued, and I would expect to have a good time, but there would also be that moment where I'd go, yeah, I think he could crush this. I think this could be a breakout thing for him, and he could be a huge movie director. So I love everything he does. So I'm rooting for him, but I don't. I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no on this. But if it happened,
like a panel judge on fucking
I know
X
on American Idol.
Shit.
I'm like, you know what? It was
I love
so
you,
good,
and you're gonna be successful, but no.
Not here.
The button.
Yeah, I'm trying to like shut him down, but I'm trying to find reasons why I would shut him down. That's the thing. It's like, has he given me a reason not to trust him to do something like that? No, he hasn't. Yeah. So I don't know.
Star Wars might be a big one to start on.
I mean, hasn't he done like a couple of movies? Just obviously not.
He's
something
done
like Star
executive.
Wars,
he's done like executive producing and writing, and he's directed small projects. Like I think the most recent one he did was like a Mystery Team or something.
Yeah, he's
like
definitely hasn't done any big
No.
movies. I mean, and in something on the level of Star Wars to kind of throw him in there is like, god damn,
it's a big one.
But you know what? At the same time, if they did, obviously Kathleen Kennedy and whoever else would be making the decisions obviously would believe in him, and they have done their due diligence, and he has shown. Obviously, he would have done like a small cut and showed what he could do in his vision. So if the greenlit if it did happen, I would be. I don't know if I'd be excited about it, but I'd go in preparing to love it. I wouldn't go in going, oh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah. I think, I'm on the fence about it. I wouldn't want it to be the mainline Star Wars. I agree with Panic that if there was going to be one to be done, that it would make the most sense that whatever he starred in, that they gave him the director seat for it. If they were going to give him one in this regard, and I think that he'd probably be more comfortable doing something like that than some mainline,
Yeah, because
movie,
you screw up episode 9, and
You're done for. You're
all
done.
all the stuff that you have done that has been great, it gets
goes
forgotten,
away.
and you're now the
Yeah.
guy that fucked Star Wars. So
Yeah, exactly.
You
No
do
pressure.
not want to do, especially when you're on the top. Like, it would be ballsy as hell. Like, if he pulled it off, you would just start to bow down and go, okay, bud,
He hasn't
you
done. He hasn't.
what can't you
again,
do?
and
movie
again,
recently where he's
if
like a
the-
lead though, has he?
Say what?
If
He hasn't done like a
hasn't-
lead role in a movie in a while, right? Like I know he's been like he's done
No.
really awesome like
Yeah.
secondary characters,
Yeah,
like in
supporting
Martian and
characters
Spider-Man.
or being like the comedy
Yeah.
side in a sort of a serious film, but I don't
He's
think
like the
he's
foil
really
or whatever.
started anything crazy. Yeah,
again,
I
like
want to
Jeff
see him
said
star
too,
in something first.
Yeah, like I'd love to see a movie in which he stars in something and see what his range is like, because he seems like a fucking unstoppable force. I don't know what it is about the guy, but his demeanor is as such, and he just produces all good stuff to the point where you just think to yourself, well, shit, if he's going to do something, it's probably going to be pretty good. It doesn't matter what it is. If he decided to knit tea cozies, they'd probably be pretty fucking dope tea cozies.
Yeah.
He just does whatever he wants to do, and he does a really damn good job
and
of
what's
whatever it
nice
is that
about
he
him
does.
is he's like he's still, there's this like level of
Real?
like it's it's like it's
Under-
almost
like
he's
underground.
yeah, it's like he's not even discovered yet. He's here, but and we see him, but he's not
Yeah.
the talk. Like, he's not.
Yeah.
It's the guy that you appreciate all the work that they do. It's like a mother that busts her ass every day and cooks and cleans and takes care of shit and all this other stuff, and you appreciate what she does, but you never really take the time to, like, unless it's Mother's Day, to really shower them with all the attention that they deserve. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he hasn't, and that's also what's great about him is he hasn't been absorbed by Hollywood. He isn't like a Chris Pratt, where Chris Pratt was at his level in terms of, like, doing notoriety, doing these certain types of roles, doing a great job at them, and then boom, Guardians of the Galaxy happened. Boom, huge star, and now there's this Hollywood aura about him that is you can't get over. It's like, okay, now he's an A-list actor, he's making the big bucks, he's this and that, but it's like whoever discovers Donald Glover in a huge way is going to benefit huge, and it's who's going to take the chance on him and make him a massive
hear something
star.
interesting? This was actually a couple of months ago. He's been hired by FXX, which is pretty much a Fox and FX studio. He's doing the Deadpool animated Marvel's TV series. He is the showrunner, executive producer, and writer on the series.
Damn.
Yeah, and he was going to be doing. He fought to be Miles Morales, and Spider-Man. They were thinking about just making him the next Spider-Man, but that fell through. So, whatever this guy touches is gold.
Thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So they still got him in, but it was.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see what happens.
They still wanted Peter
Interesting.
Parker. They didn't want Miles yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Here's my prediction. He's going to get a role in an Oscar bait movie, and he's going to fucking win an Oscar. That's the type of dude Donald Glover is. He's the guy that is like just low key enough, and you don't know it, and he sneaks up on you. And that's the perfect person to put in an Oscar bait movie and just put him in some sort of like dramatic role, whatever, and he's just going to kill it because it's Donald Glover, and he's going to win a fucking Oscar. And from there, it's just going to be whatever. I can see that happening. I think that's around where he is in his career now, where that's just somebody's going to come and knocking at the right time, and we're going to see this, whatever. He's going to get it. I hope all the best for him. I think he's fantastic.
Yeah, we'll
I love his music. I think his music's dope. I think the TV shows he's been part of are all fire. I think everything that he does is like Jeff said, touches it, turns gold. So let's see what happens next for old Donnie. Last thing I have on here, and I put it on here if only because I read the books when I was younger, and they were pretty fun. And similar vein to Harry Potter, there would be a window here for this to hopefully not be bad if it's just a bunch of Brits doing it, kind of like Harry Potter. And it seems like that might be what happens because Artemis Fowl is apparently going to be turned into a movie series, and Judi Dench, who is one of my favorite female actresses, is apparently possibly going to be part of that whole thing. And if that's the case, odds are there. I mean, it makes sense. Artemis Fowl being a Brit thing makes perfect sense to me anyway. Yeah, Judi Dench. I only say that because I watched her in stuff from like British sitcoms from years ago and stuff.
So one note, man. I'm just like, you know, she
well, the
never
movie
sucks,
she's casted in now,
like
she's typecasted to shit. But she's really funny. Like I watched her. Before I saw her in movies, I watched her in a TV show called As Time Goes By, and stupid, crazy, British humor type show. Really well done. Very, very funny, very good actress in that regard. But yes, she's Mum now from Golden, from 007. That's who she is. She's M. So it's unfortunate. But yeah, I would love to see that do well, because real talk, I liked Harry Potter quite a bit. It's one of my guilty pleasures. I liked Harry Potter quite a bit.
I didn't even watch the last 4 Harry Potter movies. So the one that you skipped that we just can't skip.
Oh, did I skip one? Oh, I didn't mean to. Which one was that?
Tomb Raider. Tomb
Oh
Raider.
shit, we skipped right over that. Oh my god, we need to absolutely talk about that. Yes, go ahead.
Tomb Raider looks like ass. Looks like a steamy pile of shit. It looks so bad. They fucked up the launch of the trailer. Dude, they fucked up hard. They came out and they're like, yeah, we're going to drop out this trailer tomorrow. They ended up not dropping out the trailer. Then, like, the director leaked, I think, the trailer or part of it on his Instagram or whatever. And then they took it down, and then they released it officially. And it was just a fucking gong show. And it looks like a cheap ripoff of the video game. And it looks bad. It looks so bad. And then in the middle of it, it's like Academy nominated whatever actress. And I'm just thinking, like, you could have done without that. It looks cheesy. It looks dumb. No. It's gonna fail. It's gonna fail. It's gonna fail so bad. It's gonna fail so bad. I can't wait. It's gonna be so bad. It looks terrible.
Okay, so I watched the trailer today.
It looks so fucking bad.
The trailer's not as bad as the movie poster. Whoever did the Photoshop in that poster needs to be fired 3 or 4 times over, because that's the worst Photoshop I've seen in a poster in a long time. But I watched the trailer, and then I watched the like behind the scenes thing, becoming Lara Croft or whatever with that girl. And kudos to her. She's jacked. She's super fit, athletic as hell. Is doing all these crazy stunts and fighting scenes. She's doing all of it in the movie. She's one of those people that just go do everything, and that's fantastic. And like Jeff said, I think she won an award. I don't even think it was a nominated. She won an
Either
award.
Way,
so anyway,
it's bad.
Do I think she's right for this role? Not a chance in hell. Not even a little bit.
This might be one of those career killer movies.
Yeah, like I'm. And they did the
thing
where in the
I don't know, man.
Well, here's the thing. Angelina Jolie did Tomb Raider based on old Tomb Raider, right? Old Lara Croft, and for that role, she was 155% the perfect person to play old Lara Croft. Were the movies fucking good? Hell no. But all that mattered was it was Angelina Jolie in a skin-tight suit, which is Lara Croft anyway. She's a sex symbol. Whether or not you want that to be the case or not, at the time anyway, that was what Lara Croft was. She was a sex symbol. It's just the way it was, and she fit that role perfectly. Did well enough as it was. I think there was a couple of movies I think that they did. I can't remember if it was 1 or 2. Anyway, now that Tomb Raider's been rebooted here by Square Enix a few years ago now, and we have this new, more, I'm going to call it realistic Lara Croft.
Modern.
One that's not, and she's not necessarily the sex symbol that she was back in the PlayStation days. Is she still an attractive British lady? Yes, absolutely. But she's not the, let's go wear like a one-piece skin-tight suit and go to battle. That's not necessarily who she is anymore. So, and I guess, so that's the idea here, is they want to do that. And that's fine. Cause I think Tomb Raider's, good as it is. The games are fantastic. The new games are fucking awesome. Games as well, but I don't think she was right for the role. I don't think she looks the part necessarily for it, and while it's cool that she's an award-winning actress, I don't think that that's exactly who you want to play Tomb Raider unless you're trying to do Tomb Raider that isn't the video game. If you're trying to do Tomb Raider that is a higher caliber extension of what Tomb Raider is supposed to be, right? Like if you're extrapolating it, like Logan, for example. So if you're doing Wolverine at its core is like this action, you know, Canadian superhero that tears the shit out of everything, and now you're making it a little bit more mature. If you're doing that with Tomb Raider, great. But they aren't doing that with Tomb Raider. What they're doing with Tomb Raider is they're making it the video game. In fact, IGN put this like side by side where they did the trailer and the video game and all the various things, and she's got her 2 pistols. She's like, I'll take 2 kind of thing. Like it's all references. It's all there. So they're doing the video game version of it.
Square Enix is part of the production of this film. Yeah. Like, and whenever a video game adaptation happens, we all know what is going to happen to this film. It's going to bomb in the box office. It's not going to be a good movie in any stretch. It'll probably have a few moments that are really cool, video game-like, that'll stand out, and I'll probably enjoy certain parts of the film. But at the end of the day, I think it's going to be a mess. I don't think it's going to be coherent. It's going to be
a career killer.
It's going to be, yeah, it could very well could be. She'll be on TV. She'll be on Netflix in fucking 3 months.
Yeah. I mean, I don't, okay, I think it doesn't look all that good. I don't think it looks as bad as a lot of video game movies that we've gotten for the last several years. I think this looks, you know, somewhere around the Assassin's Creed level where they got, you know, Fassbender or whatever in there, and it was not a good movie, but it was also not Uwe Boll level video game movie horseshit. So it's still a damn slight better than what we'd probably be getting on, you know, in general. But I feel like video game movies might still be getting into the situation where they think that just plugging in an Oscar nominated or an Oscar winner or whatever actor or actress, that suddenly the efficacy of their movie is just going to fucking skyrocket and just be like this amazing movie. And that's not exactly how it works. So
all they need for a good video game movie is a good goddamn script. Yes. With a good goddamn script with plot, just using characters and stuff, and you're all set. But no, they're like, oh, we got a video game. We're done.
You know who would be? You know who would be like the new age Lara Croft if she was still the sex symbol? Daddario. that would be Lara Croft. It's unfortunate that people in the comment section of YouTube and everything else in this thing were talking about, oh, her tits are like way too small for Tomb Raiders. That's a bit stupid. I don't think that she needs to physically be identical to Lara Croft in the video game.
I'm not gonna lie, I did notice that, and I do think tits are kind of small.
Well, they are.
I did know. I'm not devaluing. I'm not saying that because of that she can't have the role or anything. But I definitely, like, watching the trailer, that's one of the first things that I noticed. Was like, you know, you got a sex symbol here, even though they're not going for the sex symbol. Let's be real here. It's a hot chick that is ripped, that is shooting guns, getting sweaty, getting beat up and bloody, you know, breathing heavy, swimming through water. All that's there. Listen, it's sex driven. And Tomb Raider is known to have a nice rack, and it's all. I'm already looking at this girl going like, I don't see Lara Croft here. But now I'm like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I would have liked to see some bigger titties, to be honest with you.
In the newer games, you know, Lara's not like rocking around with F cup boobs or some shit. This is not what the newer Lara Croft is. But I think everyone probably noticed it. It didn't really bother me that much at all. The thing that bothered me more was that she just looked like a teenager. Yeah, you know, Lara Croft is a much more mature looking character. In the more recent games and stuff, she looks like a much more, like, I don't want to like mess with, you know, anything saying about her body or anything, but in the video game she just looks more normal. Like she's like a more realistic proportioned person. You know, Alicia Vikander, great actress, but she's kind of small framed for the Lara Croft type character.
I will defend her in this thing. This is supposed to be like her becoming Lara Croft.
Yes, of course.
So let's give her time to, if the movie does relatively well and if there's any type of success, obviously it'll be a franchise. So maybe that'll be part of the progression where we are seeing a very plain, run-of-the-mill, nothing crazy, because she hasn't gone through all these experiences. She hasn't had those scars. She hasn't. She's only starting to learn about her abilities and become really good at what she does. So I'll give them that. I will give them that. And I'm not rooting for this film to suck, but I'm at the same time, it's not looking good. It's just
you don't
not
want
looking
bad
good.
movies.
Yeah, it's just not looking
we
good.
Want movies to succeed.
No. Especially when they're video game movies. I want a good video game movie. I don't want them to continue to be mediocre or less than mediocre would be ideal. So, yeah, well, I guess we're going to find out just how this movie goes over. I'll probably go see it just to see what it's...
That'll actually get Adam out of the house to into the movie theater. It's going to be Tomb Raider that's going to do it for you.
I'm going to Netflix that one.
Jesus Christ, man. Anyway.
Speaking of which, Kingsman is coming out this weekend. Are you going to watch it, Jeff?
Yeah, I'm going to go check it out.
Yeah, Kingsman looks pretty good. It does indeed.
That just pains me, Adam, bro.
I'm just going to do it.
There's so many good movies that have come out. There's so many good movies that have come out that you just refuse to go to the movie and see, but you'll go and watch Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Like this version of Tomb Raider
it's
of all
things. It's a
video
game movie, and it doesn't look like it's as shit as World of Warcraft. So I might give it a little peek to see what's up.
Shake my head.
Yeah, I say that, but what are the odds of me actually going to it? Probably not all that high.
I don't know. You're defending it quite a bit. I think you might go check it out.
Adam will put his shoes on before he sits down on the couch to watch it.
Yeah, I don't even like Tomb Raider as the games all that much. They are better games than they used to be, though. Very, very good. Very good
but games and movies are two totally different things. Yeah, they're just two totally different beasts.
Unfortunately. So anyway, now that we've crossed the 2-hour mark, it's time for us to take a break. Come back with side B. For those of you here on Twitch, that just means a few-minute break. For those of you listening in on iTunes, YouTube, and beyond, you're going to have to wait for it to be released. Maybe it's already out. And if it is, there's nothing stopping you. Go indulge. But either way, we will be seeing you regardless of where you are, when we see you. And so until then, peace. Hey guys, if you're enjoying Technical Alpha and are interested in supporting us, do I have a solution for you? We've set up this Patreon page to help us help you, help us and you. We've got a list of options that would make a used car salesman cry that provides you with a range of goodies for your support. Head on over to patreon.com/technicalalpha to see what's up for grabs. Like fancy badges and stuff? Subscribe to us on Twitch to get access to, well, badges and stuff. Not big on subscriptions. We have a button below that allows you to directly throw money at our faces. Careful you don't take those eyes out though. We are so very fond of our eyes. Honestly though, while we like to joke about the sellout, just being a regular listener is a huge help, and we're incredibly thankful for all of your support. Technical Alpha will continue soon, so sit tight.